Have you ever wondered why some women effortlessly attract commitment while others struggle to keep a man interested? What is it that makes a man look at a woman and think, she's the one, I want to spend my life with her? The truth is, love isn't just about feelings, it's about psychology. Men, just like women, have subconscious desires that drive their decisions. And when a woman understands those desires, she becomes unforgettable. If you've ever felt confused about what truly makes a man commit, stay with me till the end of this video. Because today, I'm revealing the deep psychological secrets that make a man see you as his forever, not just another momentary attraction. And here's your reward. By the end of this video, you won't just know what makes a man want to marry you, you'll know how to embody it in your life effortlessly. Now let's get real for a moment. In today's world, we often hear conflicting messages about love and relationships. Play hard to get, they say. Be independent, but not too independent. Don't be too emotional, but don't be too cold either. It's confusing, isn't it? But the truth is simpler than you think. A man doesn't marry a woman because of her looks, her social status, or even because they've been together for years. He marries a woman because she makes him feel something no one else can. And here's where psychology comes into play. Studies show that men commit not when they like a woman, but when they feel emotionally safe with her. Think about it. Why do men spend years with someone but suddenly propose to a new woman they've only known for a few months? It's not about time, it's about emotional impact. A man's heart is wired differently than a woman's. While women often seek emotional depth from the start, men take time to recognize their emotional needs. At first, a man might be drawn to a woman's beauty, charm, or confidence, but if those things are all she offers, the attraction fades. What keeps him there? What makes him choose her for life is something deeper. It's the way she makes him feel about himself when he's with her. You see, every man wants a woman who doesn't just fit into his life but elevates it. A woman who brings peace, not chaos. A woman who understands that love isn't about possession, it's about connection. And when a man finds a woman like that, he doesn't want to risk losing her. So here's the truth most women don't realize. You don't have to convince a man to commit. You don't have to chase, beg, or prove your worth. The right man will recognize it if you recognize it first. Because the moment you stop trying to be good enough for him and start being the woman who naturally attracts commitment, everything changes. And that's exactly what we're going to uncover in this video, the 10 powerful traits that make a man see you as his future wife. The subtle shifts in energy, mindset, and behavior that make him want to commit, not out of obligation, but because he chooses you above all others. So, are you ready to step into your power? To stop wondering why won't he commit and start becoming the woman a man never wants to leave? If so, let's dive deep. Because once you understand these principles, you'll never look at relationships the same way again. There is one trait that instantly sets a woman apart, one quality that makes a man see her as extraordinary. It's not her beauty, it's not her intelligence, it's not even how much she loves him. It's confidence. Confidence is the silent magnet that draws people in without effort. It speaks before you even open your mouth. It is the way you carry yourself, the way you move, the way you handle situations. And here's the psychological truth. A man cannot value you more than you value yourself. Think about it. Have you ever met a woman who isn't conventionally beautiful, yet she turns heads wherever she goes? It's not her looks, it's the way she owns them. She walks with purpose. She speaks with certainty. She doesn't seek approval, and that makes people want to give it to her. Now let's look at relationships. Men are naturally drawn to what they perceive as high value. And nothing signals high value more than a woman who knows her worth. When you truly believe you are valuable, when you act in alignment with that belief, men feel it. They respect it, and more importantly, they fear losing it. This is where many women go wrong. They confuse confidence with arrogance. But confidence isn't about being loud, controlling, or proving yourself. It's quiet. It's effortless. It's the ability to say, I am enough, with or without you. And paradoxically, that energy is what makes a man want to stay. Because Here's a psychological fact. Men chase what they think they can lose. If you don't fully believe in your own worth, if you constantly need reassurance, if you make him the center of your universe, he won't feel the need to lock you down. Why? Because there's no urgency. He knows you're there, waiting, available, always proving your love. And in his subconscious mind, that signals low value. But the moment you shift, the moment you step into your confidence and make it clear that you are a woman of standards, everything changes. Suddenly he sees you differently. He feels something different. He realizes, this is the kind of woman I don't want to lose. So what does confidence actually look like in love? It means you don't tolerate half-hearted effort. You don't accept inconsistency. You don't sit around waiting for a man to choose you. You choose yourself first. And that energy, it's intoxicating. Because deep down, every man wants a woman he can admire. But let's go even deeper. Confidence isn't just about how you act in a relationship. It's about who you are outside of it. What do you bring to the table beyond love? What is your purpose, your passion, your mission? Because the most attractive thing about a woman is not just her love, it's her life. A woman who has something bigger than a relationship, whether it's her career, her dreams, her personal growth, becomes magnetic. She doesn't need a man, and because of that, she naturally attracts the kind of man who wants to add to her life, not define it. This is the secret to effortless attraction. When you become a woman who doesn't chase, life and love start chasing you. Because men don't marry women who are desperate for love. They marry women who embody love. Love for themselves, for their life, for their purpose. So, here's the ultimate truth. Confidence isn't something you perform. It's something you believe. It's not about looking perfect or saying the right things. It's about knowing deep down that you are already complete. When you fully accept that, you stop trying to be good enough for him. Instead, you start asking, is he good enough for me? And when a man meets a woman with that mindset, he doesn't just want to be around her. He wants to commit. He wants to secure her before someone else does. Because he knows that a confident woman doesn't wait for love, she chooses it. And that is the kind of woman a man wants to marry. There's something a man values even more than beauty, passion, or excitement. Something that makes him feel safe enough to commit his life to a woman. That is emotional maturity. Emotional maturity isn't just about controlling your feelings. It's about understanding them. It's about knowing when to express, when to listen, and when to let go. A woman with emotional maturity doesn't react, she responds. She doesn't create drama, she creates peace. And for a man, that is priceless. Most men won't say this outright, but they crave a woman who brings stability. A woman who knows how to handle life's ups and downs without falling apart. Because let's be honest, life will test every relationship. There will be challenges, miscommunications, and stressful moments. And when a man is thinking about marriage, he's not just thinking about love. He's thinking about a partner. Someone who will stand by him, not crumble when things get hard. Now, let's go deeper. A man doesn't just choose a woman because she makes him feel good in the moment. He chooses her because he feels emotionally safe with her. And this is where so many women go wrong. They think attraction alone is enough. They think passion will hold a relationship together. But a man might be drawn to passion. He commits to peace. Peace doesn't mean silence. It doesn't mean you ignore your feelings or suppress your emotions. It means you know how to communicate them. It means you express yourself in a way that builds the relationship instead of breaking it down. Because here's the truth, men avoid drama, not emotions. They want a woman who can be vulnerable, but also composed. A woman who knows how to express frustration without attacking. A woman who can handle challenges without blaming or shutting down. That's rare. That's powerful. That's unforgettable. Think about it. Have you ever seen a man leave a woman who adored him only to marry someone else within a short time? It wasn't about love. It was about emotional alignment. The woman he married didn't just love him. She made him feel at ease. She didn't drain his energy. She didn't turn small problems into wars. She created an environment where he felt understood. Now, here's where psychology plays a role. Men, by nature, aren't as emotionally expressive as women. They weren't raised to communicate their feelings the way women were. So when a woman can read between the lines, when she can sense what he needs without forcing him to spell it out, he feels something he rarely feels elsewhere: deep emotional connection. But let's be clear. Being emotionally mature does not mean tolerating bad behavior. It does not mean accepting disrespect. It does not mean being passive. In fact, the most emotionally mature women are the ones who set clear boundaries. They don't react in anger, but they also don't allow toxic patterns. They know their worth, and because of that, they teach men how to treat them. This is the secret most women overlook. A man doesn't commit because he has to, he commits because he wants to. And a woman who is emotionally mature makes a man want to stay, not because she's trying to impress him, not because she's bending over backwards to prove her love, but because she makes life feel lighter, calmer, better. Men carry a lot on their shoulders. They are expected to be strong, to succeed, to lead, but even the strongest men need a place to rest, not a battlefield, not constant conflict, a place where they feel supported, respected, and appreciated. And here's the final truth. A man marries the woman who makes him feel at home, not the woman who makes him feel anxious, not the woman who makes him feel trapped, but the woman who makes him feel safe. Safe to be himself, safe to share his fears, safe to grow into the man he's meant to be. When a man finds that, he doesn't just stay, he commits fully. He chooses that woman not just for a moment, but for a lifetime. There is something about a woman's presence that can shift the entire energy of a room. It's not about what she wears. It's not about what she says. It's about what she radiates. This is the silent force that makes a man feel drawn to her in a way he can't explain. It's called feminine energy, and it's one of the most powerful things a woman can embody. Most people misunderstand what feminine energy truly is. They think it's about looking soft, being passive, or simply acting more girly. But feminine energy has nothing to do with weakness. In fact, it's the opposite. It's about being receptive instead of forceful, flowing instead of rigid, magnetic instead of chasing. Men are naturally drawn to feminine energy because it complements their masculine nature. While masculine energy is about action, structure, and logic, feminine energy is about intuition, emotion, and creativity. This balance creates harmony in a relationship. When a woman is in her feminine energy, she doesn't need to chase or convince a man to love her. She simply attracts. But in today's world, many women have been taught to suppress their femininity, to be strong in a way that mimics masculinity, to be independent to the point of rejecting softness, to guard their emotions out of fear of appearing weak. But here's the truth. Feminine energy is not about being weak. It's about being powerful in a different way. Think about it. When a man is with a woman who embodies feminine energy, he feels a deep sense of peace. He doesn't feel challenged in a competitive way. He feels invited into something softer, something more nurturing. A woman in her feminine energy makes a man want to protect, to cherish, to provide. Not because she needs him, but because she allows him to step into his own masculine role. So what does feminine energy look like in a relationship? It's the ability to receive love instead of always giving. It's the grace of letting a man take the lead sometimes, not because you can't, but because you trust him. It's the warmth in your presence that makes him feel comfortable enough to open up. A woman in her feminine energy doesn't force things. She doesn't push for attention. She doesn't operate from a place of control. Instead, she creates space for love to flow naturally. She knows her value, and because of that, she doesn't settle for half-hearted effort. She doesn't chase a man, she inspires him to step up. This is where psychology plays a role. Studies show that men fall in love not just because of what a woman does for them, but because of how she makes them feel. A woman who is constantly in her masculine energy, always leading, always controlling, always proving, creates resistance. But a woman who leans into her natural softness, her emotional depth, her ability to make life feel lighter, creates attraction. But let's be clear, being in your feminine energy does not mean suppressing your strength. It does not mean playing small. It does not mean giving up your independence. It means embracing the power that comes from being fully in tune with yourself. When a woman allows herself to be in her true feminine essence, she naturally brings out the best in a man. She doesn't force him to commit. He wants to. She doesn't have to convince him of her worth. He feels it. Because she represents something rare, something refreshing, something that makes him feel like he's finally home. And that is the kind of woman a man doesn't just love, he chooses for life. If there is one thing that determines whether a man will commit for life, it's respect. Love may spark attraction, chemistry may create excitement, but respect is what makes a man stay. Without respect, love fades. Without respect, passion dies. Without respect, commitment becomes an obligation instead of a choice. Most women focus on making a man love them. They give more, they prove their worth, they try to be everything he needs. But the truth is, a man can love a woman deeply and still not marry her, because love alone is not enough. A man marries the woman he respects, the woman he looks up to, the woman whose presence makes him want to be a better man. Respect is more than just how you treat him, it's about how you treat yourself. A man doesn't just observe the way you speak to him, he watches how you carry yourself. Do you hold strong boundaries? Do you stand up for what you believe in? Do you expect to be treated with kindness, loyalty, and effort? Or do you accept less than you deserve just to keep him around? Here's where psychology comes in. Human nature is wired to value what is earned, not what is freely given without effort. When something is too easy to obtain, the mind subconsciously devalues it. This is why men respect women who have standards, not because they enjoy a challenge, but because they recognize the strength it takes to set those standards. A woman who respects herself doesn't beg for attention. She doesn't tolerate inconsistency. She doesn't allow a man to play with her emotions and still have access to her heart. She operates from a place of self-worth, and because of that, she naturally commands respect. And here's the paradox. When a woman commands respect, she receives love effortlessly. Because a man knows that a woman who values herself is not afraid to walk away from anything that doesn't honor her. And that kind of woman, she's unforgettable. But respect isn't just about boundaries. It's also about how you treat him. A man will commit to the woman who makes him feel respected, just as much as he respects her. This means recognizing his efforts, appreciating his strengths, and believing in his potential. Men may not always express it, but deep down, they long to be admired by the woman they love. They want to feel like they are enough, like they are capable, like they're seen for more than just what they can provide. This doesn't mean you should tolerate bad behavior. It doesn't mean you should praise a man who isn't treating you right. But when a man is showing up, when he is making an effort, when he is being the kind of partner you deserve, let him know. Because here's something most women don't realize. A man thrives in an environment of respect when he feels like his woman believes in him, when she sees the best in him, when she speaks to him with kindness, even during difficult moments. It creates a bond that is unbreakable. But the moment he feels belittled, unappreciated, or constantly criticized, something inside him begins to shut down. A man will fight for a woman who makes him feel valued, but he will withdraw from a woman who makes him feel less. So what does this all mean? It means that if you want a man to see you as his future wife, the foundation must be built on mutual respect. A respect that goes both ways. A respect that says, I honor myself enough to choose a man who treats me well, and I honor him enough to appreciate the way he shows up for me. When a man finds a woman who carries herself with dignity, who knows her worth, and who treats him with the respect he longs for, he doesn't hesitate, he doesn't second guess, he chooses her. Not because he has to, but because he knows this is the kind of woman a man doesn't want to lose. Every man has a vision for his life, a dream he carries, a purpose he wants to fulfill, a path he is trying to carve out in this world. And while love is important, what truly anchors a man to a woman is when he feels that she believes in him, that she sees not just who he is today, but who he is capable of becoming. Men crave admiration, not in a shallow way, but in a deep emotional way. A man can receive validation from the world, from his job, from his achievements, but the validation that matters most, it comes from his woman. The way she looks at him, the way she speaks to him, the way she believes in him. This is what gives a man the strength to push forward when life gets tough. A man may be strong on the outside, but inside he carries silent battles. Battles of doubt, pressure, fear of failure. And when he chooses a wife, he's not just looking for someone to share happy moments with. He's looking for a partner in his journey. Someone who doesn't just enjoy the good times, but who stands beside him when things don't go as planned. Here's what most women don't realize. A man's success is deeply connected to the woman he chooses. If he feels supported, encouraged, and uplifted, he thrives. But if he feels criticized, doubted, or unappreciated, he starts to shrink. The right woman doesn't push a man to be successful through pressure or demands. She inspires him by simply believing in him. And this belief, it's not just words, it's in the energy you bring. Do you speak life into him? Do you remind him of his strengths? Do you trust in his ability to create a future for himself and for both of you? Or do you plant seeds of doubt, focusing on what he hasn't done yet instead of what he's capable of achieving? A woman who believes in a man's purpose doesn't need to control his journey. She doesn't need to demand that he moves at her pace. She understands that a man grows best when he feels trusted, not pressured. But let's be clear, this doesn't mean tolerating laziness. It doesn't mean waiting around for a man who has no direction. A man's ambition should already be present within him. Your role isn't to create his purpose, it's to stand beside him as he builds it. When a man sees that a woman is patient with his journey, when she encourages him instead of belittling him, when she holds space for his dreams without making him feel like a failure for not reaching them fast enough, something powerful happens. He starts to associate her with his growth. She becomes the person he wants to celebrate his wins with, the person he confides in when he's struggling, the person he wants by his side for life. Because deep down, every man wants to feel like a hero in his woman's eyes. He wants to feel like he is worthy of her admiration. And a woman who brings out the best in a man, she's not just someone he loves. Not the one who doubts him, not the one who pressures him, but the one who sees his potential before he even fully sees it himself. Love is easy when things are good, when there are no arguments, no stress, no challenges, but real love, the kind that leads to marriage, isn't just about the happy moments. It's about how you handle the hard ones. And nothing keeps a man more committed than a woman who possesses emotional maturity. Emotional maturity isn't about being perfect. It's not about never getting upset or never feeling hurt. It's about how you respond to those emotions. It's the ability to communicate without attacking, to express your feelings without causing destruction, and to handle conflicts without turning love into a battlefield. Men are not wired to handle excessive emotional chaos. They don't connect through long emotional debates or unpredictable mood swings. When a man feels like he has to walk on eggshells around a woman, constantly guessing what might trigger her next reaction, he starts to feel drained, and over time, that exhaustion turns into distance. But a woman who is emotionally mature, she makes a man feel safe. She doesn't let small problems turn into unnecessary drama. She doesn't punish him with silent treatments, guilt trips, or emotional games. She speaks with clarity, listens with patience, and allows space for understanding instead of blame. This doesn't mean ignoring your emotions or pretending everything is fine when it's not. It means expressing what you feel in a way that leads to resolution, not just reaction. It's saying, "This hurt me and I want to talk about it," instead of, "You always do this, you never care." It's the difference between building a bridge and burning one. Psychologically, men are drawn to peace. A man's life is already filled with pressure, work, responsibilities, the need to constantly perform. When he chooses a wife, he's not looking for more stress. He's looking for someone who adds calmness to his life, not chaos. A woman who has emotional maturity knows how to handle misunderstandings with grace. She doesn't react impulsively. She takes a step back, processes her emotions, and chooses words that heal rather than harm. She knows that real power isn't in who wins an argument, it's in finding a solution together. And here's something powerful. The way a woman handles emotions teaches a man how to treat her. If she constantly explodes over small things, he learns to avoid communication. If she shuts down completely, he learns to disconnect. But if she approaches emotions with wisdom and balance, he learns to open up, to trust her, to feel safe expressing his own feelings. Because men don't just want physical attraction. They don't just want fun or excitement. They want emotional security, a place where they can be vulnerable without fear of being attacked, a place where their mistakes are met with understanding, not punishment. And when a man finds a woman who brings this level of emotional depth into his life, he doesn't just love her, he chooses her. Not just for a moment, but for a lifetime. A man may be drawn to a woman's beauty, he may admire her intelligence, her charm, or even her ambition. But when it comes to choosing a life partner, there is one thing that outweighs everything else: peace. A man marries the woman who brings peace into his life. The world is already full of pressure. A man faces expectations at work, competition in his career, responsibilities to his family, and the constant need to perform. But when he comes home, he doesn't want another battlefield. He wants a sanctuary, a place where he can breathe, where he can be himself, where he feels safe. And the woman who gives him that, she is the woman he never wants to lose. Peace doesn't mean being silent. It doesn't mean avoiding hard conversations. It means knowing how to communicate without turning every issue into war. It means creating an environment where love isn't just about passion. It's about comfort. A man stays where he feels at ease, where he doesn't have to constantly explain himself, where he doesn't feel like he's walking on eggshells, fearing that the next small mistake will turn into an explosion. Many relationships fail not because the love isn't there, but because the energy is heavy. Constant arguing, unnecessary drama, emotional unpredictability. It drains a man's soul. He starts to associate the relationship with stress instead of security. And when a man feels more peaceful alone than with the woman he's with, he starts to withdraw. A woman who is his peace understands that disagreements will happen, but they don't have to become toxic. She knows when to let go of small things instead of holding on to grudges. She understands that a strong relationship isn't about who wins the argument, it's about winning together. Psychologically, men are wired to seek out environments that make them feel good. Just like anyone, they are drawn to what soothes them and pull away from what stresses them. And when a man finds a woman whose presence brings calm instead of chaos, he begins to see her as home. This is why a woman's energy matters more than anything. A woman who is his peace doesn't need to prove her worth through constant effort. She doesn't need to chase him, convince him, or force him to commit. She simply becomes the woman he never wants to leave. And here's the truth: peace is power. A woman who carries peace within herself radiates a different kind of attraction. She doesn't entertain unnecessary drama. She doesn't react to negativity. She doesn't let small things shake her confidence. She is grounded, emotionally steady, and in control of her energy. And that kind of woman, she doesn't just attract a man's love, she earns his devotion. Because when a man realizes that life with her feels better than life without her, commitment is no longer a question, it's a privilege. A man might be attracted to a woman's looks, but what makes him fall in love, what makes him see her as the one, is her energy. And the most irresistible energy a woman can have, feminine energy. Feminine energy isn't about appearance. It's not about wearing the perfect dress or having flawless makeup. It's about something deeper, an energy that draws a man in without force, without control, without chasing. It's flow, not force, presence, not pressure, softness, not weakness. A woman in her feminine energy is receptive. She allows love to come to her instead of constantly trying to make it happen. She doesn't beg for attention. She doesn't need to control everything. She trusts, she allows, she attracts. And this is where psychology plays a huge role. Men are wired to pursue. It's in their nature to seek, to win, to feel like they are earning a woman's love. But when a woman is always the one initiating, always the one proving, always the one doing too much, a man doesn't feel like he's choosing her. He feels like he's being forced. Feminine energy is about openness. It's about creating an emotional space that feels safe and inviting. It's about knowing that you don't have to constantly prove your worth, because your worth is already there. A woman in her feminine energy is deeply connected to herself. She takes care of her emotions, her mind, her body, not for a man, but for her own joy. She knows that her happiness doesn't depend on someone else. It comes from within. And that kind of woman, she glows with a different kind of attraction. Men are drawn to what feels good. And a woman who radiates ease, softness, and confidence is magnetic. She doesn't need to chase because she naturally pulls him in. She lets a man show up for her. She lets him lead, not because she is weak, but because she understands the balance of masculine and feminine energy. But make no mistake, feminine energy is not about being passive. It's not about sitting back and waiting for a man to do everything. It's about knowing when to act and when to receive. It's about responding to his effort, not overcompensating for his lack of it. A woman in her feminine knows her power. She doesn't beg for love, she attracts it. She doesn't fear being alone because she understands that her energy is her greatest asset. And when a man meets a woman like this, he doesn't just see her as someone to date, he sees her as someone to commit to for life. A woman's beauty might catch a man's eye, her kindness might win his heart, but the one thing that makes a man value her for a lifetime? Self-respect. A woman with self-respect doesn't settle for half-hearted love. She doesn't accept inconsistency, mixed signals, or a man who doesn't know what he wants. She sets standards, not to test a man, but because she knows her worth. And when a man meets a woman like this, he realizes he has to step up or step aside. Psychologically, people value what they work for. If something is too easy to obtain, it's often taken for granted. The same applies to relationships. When a woman overgives, over-sacrifices, or tries too hard to keep a man interested, he doesn't see her as special. He sees her as replaceable. But a woman with self-respect, she is different. She knows that she is the prize. She doesn't chase. She doesn't beg. She doesn't convince a man to choose her. Instead, she operates from a place of abundance. She knows that if a man is inconsistent, distant, or unsure about her, she has the power to walk away, not out of anger, not as a game, but because she refuses to be in a relationship where she is not deeply valued. And here's the powerful truth. A man cannot respect a woman more than she respects herself. If she tolerates broken promises, disrespect, or neglect, she teaches him that this is acceptable. But if she holds herself to a higher standard, if she demands effort, consistency, and real commitment, a man has only two choices: rise to meet her standards or lose her completely. This is why confidence is magnetic. A woman with self-respect doesn't wait around for a man to decide if she's worth it. She knows she is, and this energy, it shifts everything. A man sees her differently. He feels the difference between a woman who needs him and a woman who chooses him. And when a man truly values a woman, when he sees that she respects herself enough to walk away from anything less than what she deserves, he doesn't just love her, he commits to her. Because deep down, every man knows a woman like this is rare. A man may have dreams, but what makes him commit to a woman for life is finding someone who believes in those dreams just as much as he does. A man doesn't just want love, he wants a partner, a woman who sees his potential, supports his vision, and stands beside him as he builds the life he desires. But here's what most people don't understand. Men don't commit to a woman just because she's there. They commit to a woman who adds value to their life. A woman who supports a man's dreams isn't just a companion. She becomes his motivation. She fuels his ambition, encourages his growth, and reminds him why he's fighting for something bigger. This doesn't mean a woman has to sacrifice her own dreams. In fact, the most powerful relationships happen when both people have their own purpose, their own ambitions, but they still come together as a team. A woman who has her own goals, her own passions, and her own direction in life inspires a man to be better. Psychologically, men are wired to conquer and achieve. It's in their nature to strive for something greater, to leave behind a legacy. But a man alone can only go so far. The right woman doesn't just stand on the sidelines watching, she walks beside him. She listens to his ideas, encourages his plans, and pushes him to go beyond his limits. And here's the truth, a man never forgets a woman who believed in him when no one else did. When life gets hard, when he faces obstacles, when self-doubt creeps in, the woman who stands strong by his side becomes irreplaceable. She isn't just another person in his life, she becomes his foundation. But supporting a man's vision isn't about losing yourself in his dreams. It's about growing together. It's about having deep conversations about the future, making plans as a team, and building something meaningful together. A man doesn't want a woman who just follows him. He wants a woman who walks with him. And when a man sees that a woman is not just thinking about the present, but truly invested in the future, he doesn't just appreciate her, he chooses her. Because to him, she isn't just another person in his life. She is the woman he wants to build his life with. Attraction may spark a relationship, but what truly makes a man stay? Emotional maturity, a woman who understands not just how to love, but how to handle love. A woman who knows how to manage emotions, communicate with clarity, and build a relationship on trust instead of fear. Many relationships don't fail because of a lack of love. They fail because of how love is handled. Insecurity, jealousy, emotional outbursts. These things create an environment of stress rather than safety. And no matter how much a man may love a woman, if the relationship feels like an emotional battlefield, he will slowly start to pull away. A woman with emotional maturity is different. She doesn't react out of impulse. She responds with wisdom. She doesn't let temporary emotions destroy something meaningful. She knows that love is not just about feeling good, but about choosing to build something solid. Psychologically, men are drawn to stability. They want to know that the person they are with can handle challenges without falling apart. A man values a woman who doesn't let small problems turn into major crises. A woman who can have a conversation without turning it into an argument. A woman who can express what she needs without blame, without guilt-tripping, without manipulation. This kind of woman doesn't play games. She doesn't give silent treatment. She doesn't test a man's love with unnecessary drama. She communicates clearly, she listens, and she chooses peace over ego. And that's powerful, because when a man meets a woman who handles emotions with grace, he sees her as his safe space. He knows that he can talk to her without fear. He knows that he can be himself without being judged. And this makes him want to commit fully, because he knows that real love isn't just about the good times, but about how strong you stand together when things get tough. A woman with emotional maturity doesn't chase love. She creates an environment where love thrives. And when a man finds a woman like that, he doesn't just appreciate her, he chooses her for life. Love may start with attraction, but what keeps a man hooked for a lifetime? Mystery, depth, a sense of endless discovery, a woman who isn't just an open book, but a novel so rich that every chapter brings something new. Many women make the mistake of giving everything too soon, every thought, every feeling, every detail of their life, thinking this will bring them closer to a man. But in reality, it removes the element of intrigue. And psychology proves it. People value what they have to figure out. When something is too available, too predictable, too easy to grasp, the human brain starts to lose interest. But a woman who has layers, who surprises a man with new sides of her personality, who keeps growing, evolving, and revealing more of herself over time, she becomes unforgettable. This doesn't mean playing games or being distant. It's about having depth, interests, passions, experiences that exist outside of the relationship. A woman who has her own world, her own dreams, her own thoughts that are not always shared immediately, creates an air of mystery that pulls a man in. He wants to know more. He wants to uncover every layer of her mind, her soul, her heart. Psychologically, men are drawn to challenge, not in a negative way, but in a way that makes them feel like they are earning something valuable. If everything is given all at once, where is the excitement? But if a woman lets a man discover her slowly, if she reveals parts of herself over time, he remains engaged. Because the truth is, men don't just want a woman they understand completely. They want a woman they are still learning about, even years into the relationship. A woman with mystery is not secretive, she is multidimensional. She doesn't give all her time, all her attention, all her energy to one person. She keeps parts of herself for herself, and that energy, that quiet confidence, it's addictive. Because when a man knows that there is always more to learn, more to experience, more to understand about the woman he loves, he never stops chasing her. He never stops choosing her, because she is not just his partner. She is his greatest adventure. A man may be drawn to a woman's looks, but what truly captivates him, what makes him fall in love on a deeper level, is her feminine. Not just how she looks, but how she feels to be around. The way she moves, the way she speaks, the way she carries herself with grace, confidence, and softness all at once. Feminine energy is powerful. It's not about being weak or submissive. It's about being in tune with the natural essence of warmth, intuition, and emotional intelligence. It's about embracing a presence that is inviting, magnetic, and deeply inspiring. When a man is around a woman who fully embodies her femininity, he feels something different. He feels drawn in. He feels alive. Psychologically, men are wired to seek polarity in relationships. Masculine energy is about logic, action, and structure. Feminine energy is about flow, intuition, and emotional depth. When these energies come together in harmony, it creates an unbreakable bond. A woman who is comfortable in her feminine energy allows a man to step deeper into his masculinity. He feels like a protector, a provider, a leader, not because she needs him to be, but because she inspires him to be. But what does feminine energy look like? It's a woman who radiates peace instead of chaos. A woman who moves with soft confidence, not rushing, not forcing, not chasing, but allowing. It's the way she listens deeply, how she responds with presence, how she makes a man feel safe, to open up, to be vulnerable, to express himself fully. And here's the secret. Feminine energy is not about what you do, but how you do it. It's the way you smile, the way you laugh, the way you bring joy into the space around you. It's how you lean into your emotions without being controlled by them. It's how you make a man feel like he's stepping into a world that is softer, richer, more vibrant, just by being in your presence. A woman who embraces her feminine energy doesn't compete with a man's masculinity. She complements it. She doesn't need to prove her strength because her power is undeniable. And when a man finds a woman who moves with this kind of grace and confidence, he feels something he can't explain. He doesn't just want her, he never wants to lose her. A man may have everything, success, money, ambition, but what truly makes him feel like a king, a woman who treats him like one. Not through blind admiration, not through submission, but through deep respect, appreciation, and belief in his greatness. Every man craves significance. He wants to feel like the man he is becoming matters. And the truth is, the right woman has the power to either build him up or tear him down. A woman who speaks life into a man, who sees his strengths instead of constantly pointing out his weaknesses, who makes him feel trusted, capable, and powerful, she becomes irreplaceable. Psychologically, men are wired to rise to the expectations set for them. When a woman believes in him, he wants to prove her right. When she treats him with admiration, he strives to be the best version of himself. But when she constantly criticizes, doubts, or belittles him, his drive fades. He starts to feel small, and eventually he pulls away. But here's the secret. The woman who makes a man feel like a king is also the woman who carries herself like a queen. Because respect is a two-way street. A man will only cherish and adore a woman who values herself first. A woman who knows her worth, who doesn't beg for love, who holds herself to a higher standard. She naturally commands respect without demanding it. And this changes everything, because when a man finds a woman who lifts him up while standing strong in her own power, he knows he has found someone rare, someone who doesn't need him, but chooses him. Someone who inspires him, not by force, but by the way she moves, speaks, and carries herself with quiet confidence. This is the kind of woman a man never wants to lose. Not because she makes him feel like a king, but because together they create a love where both feel honored, valued, and deeply respected. A love where they don't just exist together, they elevate each other. And in the end, that's what every man truly wants. Not just a partner, not just a lover, but a queen by his side for life.